Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today. Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
Well, all right. Welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast. Kevin and Chuck. Today, we're going to talk, well, basically, a salute to the working man. And in general, I'm thinking a salute to veterans. A salute to the warriors out there in the military, the police, the fire department, all that stuff. But it's more the unsung hero of the world. Think Mike Rowe kind of thing. I guess the idea is, we all know like Chris Kyle and the badasses, Murphy and all these guys that are so great. And they get their due. But there's a lot of guys out there breaking their ass and doing their part. And this is actually our 200th episode.
Is it?
Which is pretty exciting.
That is exciting.
I was told when I mentioned, our 200th episode is coming up, somebody was like, oh, no, I look in the iTunes counter and it's like 207 or whatever the hell. I don't know. And it's the 200th original episode because there were some classics we threw out, different stuff. So we've been doing this a while.
We have been doing this a while.
And somehow you guys are still with us. Who knew? Well, I mean, if you're hearing this, you're still with us. If you're not, well, then, you were probably a loser anyway and just couldn't handle Kevin's foul mouth.
Bye, Felicia.
Sometimes people come and go in your life. That's how life works.
That's it, man.
But, yeah, 200 episodes. So, not bad. So, I thought we'd kind of talk about some of the hardships that you have kind of in life and like in the military. I might even have a law enforcement story or two, maybe even a fireman story. I don't know. But basically, these guys, unsung heroes, go out, do the hard, do the tough stuff every day. And they don't get a lot for it. So if you ever thought about maybe joining the military, well, we're probably going to scare you away from that. Because it turns out it's not all gravy and roses or rainbows and sunshine.
Right.
What is it Adam Sandler says? Lamb and tuna fish?
Sure.
Something, whatever. All the good stuff. I like to think, all right, think about it like this, all right? Imagine you have your lovely wife, your little babies, everything's good. You're like, yeah, I'm soldier boy. I ride on the big ship. Look at that's all impressive. Sometimes we pull into New York City for Fleet Week and hooray, parades, and everything's great. You're like, that's cool. That's one version. Now imagine you have that same family at home and you go to work and everything's hunky-dory and you pull out and you're supposed to go 2 days, maybe down to Puerto Rico or something, and then come back. And then they're like, yeah, fuck it. We're going to the Middle East and we're not coming back for 10 months.
Yeah.
And you're like, but my car's in the parking lot. Yeah, no.
Not anymore.
And so some guys, they come back from that deployment and their car is just covered with bird shit.
Yep.
And they're like, and then other guys who were not so lucky come back and their car's just gone.
That's right. That's
And
right.
you're like, I don't understand.
Yeah, your parking registration
Yeah,
for
but
the
it's
base expired.
Yeah, they don't go for that shit, you know? Or maybe you're the guy who, and then that's assuming that you come back and your wife's still there.
Right.
And
How
so-
many times on deployment did you see one of your friends like just sulking around? What's wrong, buddy? Just got a letter from my wife. She's fucking the gardener.
The letter is better than getting the video.
Yes, the famous video.
Kevin, tell our audience
The
about the
famous
videos
video.
that a sailor might
Yeah.
get while he's out at sea.
I always heard the story. Now, I feel like this is an Army story. This is a Marine story. I don't know if this has ever even happened. It's like an
We don't know.
urban
But
legend.
we know we've seen a lot of sailors and soldiers crying in the corner.
Right. It might have happened to them.
It might happen to them.
What I heard, the version I heard was wife sent a video out with a football game.
Okay.
So all the guys in the barracks got together and were watching the football game. Then the football game switches off.
What?
And it's a video of his bedroom
Ah, my bedroom.
with his wife
Wait, honey, what did you send me?
and two other dudes.
What? That does sound very similar to the story that I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, different stories about what happens to the guy afterwards, but, I mean, who knows?
Now, I have heard that story, and that is the one I was referring to, which is disturbing and trying. I do seem to recall we actually were returning from a deployment one time, and they held us out and wouldn't let the ship pull in because the women were running some kind of prostitution ring while the guys were out.
Nice.
And they thought it might be really bad if we pulled in and while all this was breaking.
Okay.
And until it got sorted out, they didn't want us to pull in and find out, everybody killing their wives.
Yeah, everybody
They thought
coming
it'd
home
be
and choking their
awkward.
wife out.
Yeah. And so they had to give everybody time to get away and cool down.
Uh-huh.
Lots of meetings on the ship.
Okay.
Before.
All right.
So
Yep.
it can be tough.
Yeah, I do remember that I was hanging out at a friend's house,
Okay.
and he lived in base housing. I didn't. And the next door neighbor came by, and she was talking about our third friend who wasn't there. She was married to somebody else. But she was telling me about how he was so great in bed while her husband was going on a 6-month deployment. But she thought it was strange because his penis was really long,
Okay.
but skinny, like a kickstand. So he got a new nickname that day. From that day forward, it was Kickstand.
That's not as good of a story.
It's not hey,
All right.
they're not all winners.
You can't all bring it A
But
game.
Kickstand, you know who you are.
He's out there.
If you're listening, you know who you are.
He's out there. All right. So, that's the thing, right? So we had, I had a guy work for me, and we're out at sea, and it was, some top secret mission, whatever. Now, mind you, they make things secret that aren't
Are really important.
in my world. I don't imagine they should be secret, but whatever. So we were doing scary things in some unknown country in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
That
place.
That place. Yeah. So whatever. So we're out there, and nobody's allowed to contact, emails back and forth or phone calls to the ship. Because we're, radio silent and, everything's like real sneaky hush hush. And, but mind you, at the same time, I have some equipment broken, and me and people at some college back in New England are messaging each other back and forth left and right. And we have no problem. I'm like, hey, how's it going? How'd that football game go? That kind of thing. So my buddy's, one of the guys that works for me, his mom and his sister die in a car crash. And we get the message to the ship from the Red Cross, because you can't just call the ship, but you can contact the Red Cross, who can call the ship.
Right.
And our fearless Red Cross is able to get the message to the ship 3 days after the bodies are in the ground.
Nice.
And then they're like, oh, by the way, we let you go home for the funeral, but you missed that.
So you're not going
So
home
you're
at
not
all.
going home? Let me tell you, mopey people on the ship, that's the kind of...
That's the kind of stuff
but
they're
these
dealing
are the sacrifices that people make that I think nobody understands. It's like, just sometimes crap's hard, We had another time where we had a bit of a sewage problem. I don't know if I've told you this story, but it's exciting. Let me tell you. So I don't know if you know about general quarters on a ship. All right, general quarters, what happens is somebody goes on the radio and it's like, general quarters. All hands, heave
So they're
out and
battle
trace up.
stations.
Battle stations,
Yep.
something. I don't know.
Right.
It's
And
been a few
everybody
years.
has their own section that they have to lock off. That's
So-
doors, pipes.
Pipes.
Everything.
So think about, if a missile comes and hits your ship, if you have pipes that flow back and forth, you want those to be closed off so it doesn't just start leaking water everywhere. Leaking water on a ship ends badly. So they shut all the valves to non-essential, equipment. Sometimes that's cooling stuff. Sometimes that's sewage. Sometimes that's firefighting water. It's whatever. You lock it down, right? So no problem. And they lock it all down. Everything's great. Oh, thank God it's over. That sub didn't get us. We're going to be okay. You always got to worry because when they call it and you're down sleeping in the berthing and you know how they shut the hatches down to the stairs? If you don't get out, you're just you're locked down there and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can open it, but no. They're not letting you out.
There's somebody standing on top
There's
of that.
somebody standing on top, right? You're not getting out. So you got to hustle, you got to show a little effort. So everything's good. General quarters, don't worry, everything's okay. Go back. We can all go to bed now. Everything's good. So where the cool guys sleep is on the very bottom of the ship. At least I think it was. It's been a long time.
The cool guys. By the cool guys, you mean the disposable people. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're down there and sleeping and dumb and happy. And then all of a sudden I hear somebody screaming and cursing. And I'm like, well, this doesn't sound good. We should get to the bottom of this. So I get up and I look over and the guy in the rack opposite me. So the racks are, imagine bunk beds that are 3 bunks high, but the bottom bunk, the side is 6 inches off the floor. It's 6 inches with some dresser drawers in it, kind of sometimes. And then there's lockers on the end. But usually the bed will lift up and all your clothes are laid underneath the bed kind of thing. And they'll stack 3 high. Well, what had happened was there's mystery sewage all over the floor at the bottom of the ship. And the sewage, when the ship took a turn, came sloshing to one side and splashed all up into the rack all over the guy next to me. Now you're like, oh, it sucks for that guy. But the story goes on. And so everybody starts screaming and yelling. And we're all waking up. And when you jump out of your bed, you're standing in 6 inches of sewage. You're like, all right, this is kind of gross.
Yeah. See, I freak out when I get up in the morning and I step in some dog pee or something.
Yes.
I lose my mind.
No. So things were ending badly. But then you're like, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to just take a shower and get cleaned up and figure this out. But then they're like, wait, all the stuff in your locker and everything else was contaminated with sewage. And you're like, well, then you're going to have to wash it. And they're like, oh, no, not sewage. That is not sanitary. So you're like, okay, but all my uniforms. And they were like, how do you feel about the next 4 months of this deployment wearing coveralls that don't fit you?
Yes.
Yes, that is what I call satisfaction. Or imagine back to when we pulled out for 8 months when it was supposed to be 3 days. Do you have uniforms for 8 months? Most likely no. And that's the kind of thing. It's like if you don't do your preparations and whatever at home, you got to realize when you leave for 6 months, I mean, I get confused leaving the house sometimes. I'm like, do I have my phone? Do I have my car keys? Am I going to have, my work phone, my this, that? It's all stressful. You imagine you pull out for 8 months without having time to prepare for that. Oh, is the bills going to get paid? Oh, are they going to repo my car? Oh, how do I go to my bank and transfer stuff? Oh,
Not
no,
gonna happen.
Not going to happen. That's the kind of sacrifice, though, that these guys are making out there. I don't know. What do you got?
Well, being gone for 6 months is definitely a stressful situation. Now, I think I was a youngster when I went out on my first 6-month deployment, and I thought it was amazing because every once in a while you pull into port and you could drink, even though you're 19. Amazing. But I also remember on that same deployment working 108 hours a week. And that can be a little bit stressful. That can be a little bit stressful over course of 6 months.
I seem to recall a long stretch where, I remember actually being issued caffeine pills. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, they issued them.
They're like, here, you guys need to keep taking these because that's all you got going, keep you going. We had, it seemed on the ship, people
Doesn't
used
seem
to
very
live
healthy.
No, especially when you're living on Mountain Dew and coffee.
And caffeine
pills. And you're like, yeah, no.
It's
you know
your
what's
three
weird?
basic food groups.
I found that I could function at almost the same level. Like, I feel like my troubleshooting and my technical skill was right there, but I could never tell you what day it was, or like what I did yesterday, or was it a month ago, or I don't know. It all just kind of blurred together. I remember the culmination of one of the deployments was they have a thing called a darkened ship. Basically, you have these black, like, binders, kind of like hall tarps that you make it so that when you go through the hallway, no light is going to escape when you open the door.
Ship, right.
And basically, the way we were doing watch, we're switching times and changing stuff all the time. And the whole hallway was set for darkened ship, and everything was black. And it was like 2:00. And I go outside for like a smoke or something. I don't know, go smoke a cigar or whatever. And I open the door and it's 2 p.m. and the sun is blazing. It was like one of those vampire movies. I'm like down on my knees and holding my arms up. I'm like, God, because I had no idea it was daytime. I'm like,
it all kind of blends together after a while.
Because you're just whatever, It was that we were up on the like 03 level, which is, above the water 3. So we're like right below the captain on my ship. And captain would come down at like 2, 3 in the morning and he'd be like, what CDs you got? He'd be like, are any of these ones my kids would like? Can I borrow them for a minute? And we're like, yeah, they would love the Bloodhound Gang.
Oh, shit.
We were always hooking them up with good stuff. But no, that's the thing. Like, you just keep going.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that goes on when you're in the military, it's not heroic shit. It's just plain awful. It's just and it doesn't matter how many hours you work. You're not getting paid hourly. You get paid the same whether you work 4 hours a day or whether you work 15. So they just work you all the way through.
It's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one of the first deployments that I did was they called it BALTOPS, which is Baltic Sea Operations, and it was like a NATO thing, and we worked with all kinds of different militaries, like the Polish and the English and the Germans and do special operations working together and whatever. So we had we were just running crazy with operations, and we go and they're just like working me to death because I think we lost somebody. I think they went to captain's mast for like punching a hooker. Or,
Yeah.
I think the way it actually played out was we were in Germany, and there's this nice little prostitution center called the Four Floors of Whores. I'm not
Nice.
really sure that was the official name. Like, I don't know if
Seems
you
like
can
a good
Google
name,
that,
though. I mean,
but they did have 4 floors, and it was like a courtyard,
okay.
and they had like the windows with the girls and the whatever,
Uh-huh.
and you just kind of pick out in the window which one.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, this guy didn't like, maybe they tried to renegotiate the price, something along that line,
Yeah.
and he didn't like that, so he punches her in the face and gets out of there. But then he left his white hat with his name stenciled in it.
Oh.
And we're the only American ship pulled in at the time. And I'm in doing paperwork with the XO for something or another. He's ordering something or whatever. And they come in, the master at arms or whatever. And he's like, the police are here and they said they found this hat and that this guy, punched a prostitute and she wants to press charges and whatever. And we called the JAG lawyers back in the States. It's the first time I ever heard of anybody actually using a JAG lawyer.
Right.
And they said that due to whatever armed forces agreement, we don't have to turn him over. We can say we'll handle it. And the captain's like, that guy's a shitbag. Send him out. And I was like, oh, no.
Send him on his way, huh?
And they kicked him off the ship, and we're like, here you go. And but that's how they roll. So this was a stressful time for our ship, and we're running a little rough. So I came to the conclusion that since I was going out, like I'm getting off work at like midnight, 2 in the morning. I mean, it's nonstop. And so I go out, and I just go get hammered because I'm like, well, if I really get drunk.
Right. Well, you gotta do all that catching up.
Right. And then I'm like, if I come back, they can't ask me to do work because I'm all fucked up. Think again. You'd be wrong if you thought that, oh, you're drunk, but just like a little drunk, right? You could still work on shit that's 2200 volts DC, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Get down there. I don't want you to leave that equipment until it's working. And that's the kind of shit, though.
Yeah.
And those are, I think, those are some of the unsung hero kind of thing. You don't come back with the big war stories or the whatever. Or imagine a world like this. Imagine you're like, hey, search and rescue swimmer. Maybe I could be cool, right? That sounds badass. You see the guys like jumping out of helicopters and whatever. Now, shipboard is a little bit different than that. Although, there are rumors of other things happening that may or may not be available to talk about. But you're imagining like, hey, I'm going to be jumping in the water and saving people's lives. Now then, I don't know if you've ever been to like Germany or some of these funny countries where you look in the water and you see nothing but like 1,000 jellyfish. Have you seen that?
Yep. Yeah, you don't want to jump in
That's
there.
where the rescues seem to always happen. They're like, hey, you know what? You get in there. And you're like, yeah, that doesn't seem right to me. Or imagine, hey, there's a floating body. Can you get that search and rescue swimmer? Can you rescue that guy?
Yeah, it's never as cool as it seems in the movies.
No. Like,
No.
you don't see, like, Tom Cruise, like, I got this.
Yeah, let me jump in that water with all those floating used condoms and swim over there and get that dead, bloated body.
That's, I mean, that's more the way the world plays out
Mm-hmm.
in reality. And you're like, this wasn't in the fucking poster.
Yeah.
You know?
None of it's in the poster.
None of it's in the poster.
Uh-huh. I didn't do any of that cool stuff they talked about.
A global force for good,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's, and you're just out there and you're like, yeah, no, I keep fighting. I keep trucking along and, whatever. We had, when we were over bombing in Kosovo, former Yugoslavia there, we're shooting tomahawks every night and different things are happening. It's pretty impressive and whatever, blowing up hospitals and, whatever we
All the
can
good stuff.
find,
Chinese embassies.
Chinese embassies, right. China, did you get that, right?
Yeah, we got you.
Got you. That's how it is. So the admiral comes over to the ship and he's like, hey, I just, you guys are doing great. I'm going to have some kind of swim call and you guys can go swim with the sharks in the 100-degree water. It's going to be excellent.
Mm-hmm.
You can climb down the rusty side of the ship. Don't worry about it. It's all going to work out. Did that. And then we have this girl raises her hand and she's like, excuse me, sir, but do you know that we're killing people? And we're just like,
Ooh.
yeah, that's awkward. You joined the military?
Yeah, that's kind of your thing, though.
This is what we do. But that's, But in defense of all that, those are some of the kind of torturous stuff. How many good bars did you go to?
Oh, a lot.
A lot, right? I don't think you went to Israel, right? You
No,
didn't have
never
that?
in Israel. No.
Israel has some nice bars.
I did almost get punched out by an Albanian hooker in Sicily.
In Sicily.
So that's something. She missed, though. She swung high, I went low, and
Why were you going
I just
low?
ran
Is
for
what
it.
I want to know.
well, it was when you get off the ship, they say these are the places that you're not allowed to go to. That's where you're going,
You're
obviously.
like, challenge accepted.
And apparently they don't want you to go there because Albanian hookers try and punch you in the face.
Why are you fighting hookers?
I don't know what happened. I was just minding my own business, and
I always had like the drunk friends.
yes, the drunk friends that you have to carry.
I don't know if you ever met my friend Kevin Dale.
Mm-hmm.
I choose to keep his last name private, protect the innocent.
Okay.
But I think he liked to talk shit to people.
Mm-hmm.
And the big thing would be you go out with your drunk friends and you're all at the bar in Turkey
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, yeah, these fucking people are so stupid and I don't know what they're thinking and blah, blah, blah. And then when you leave the bar, they're all waiting there to kick your ass.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen that play out?
Yeah, I actually had a friend of mine that
Like to run his mouth?
that he liked to fight. He liked to get into fist fights.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he said, "Why don't you? Hey, see those bikers over there?" He said, "Go start a fight." No, man, I'm gonna get the shit kicked out of me before you even get over there.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. But he'd always find a reason that he had to fight somebody.
Yeah,
I mean, he was good at it. You gotta,
sometimes,
if
got
you're
a
good at
skill.
something, yeah.
You got a skill. You got to go with it, right? No, not bad. Yeah. What else you got over there? Anything good? What about at home? How's that go when you pull back to? I don't mean like at your house. I mean, like when you're working in your home port.
Yeah, that's always awful. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's supposed to be like a 7 to 3:30 thing when you're in port, but it never is.
that would be sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I have you ever had like you're out on a ship, you're carrying the Leatherman on your hip, and you're fixing stuff all day long, and you know things are cool. You got like white socks because they're more comfortable under your boots, and your boots have like big holes because you thought you were smart, and you were like, I don't need shoe polish. That's just bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And then you don't
That
realize
salt water
that
won't-
salt water is gonna freaking turn your boots to freaking shredded, whatever.
Right.
So
White,
you got the white
shredded
socks, and then you got the shredded boots. So I'm taking shoe polish and I'm filling in all the holes
All my
of
socks.
on the socks, and I'm pretty cool. So we roll back into Norfolk, and I'm walking to, like, I don't know what, maybe the store or something. I don't know, something on the base. And some jackass comes up to me and he's like, "What's that on your belt?" Because I got like the Leatherman there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Leatherman? Is that part of your uniform?" I'm like,
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, no, it's not part of my uniform. And I'm thinking, have you ever been on a ship, you jackass?
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm going to write you up, and this is going to your command, and it's going to be hell. And I don't know. I never heard anything about it
Yeah,
after
well,
that.
he probably did write it up
Yeah,
and
I'm
send
sure
it
he
out.
did, but yeah, here,
So
like,
this
get
is
out of
garbage.
here. But, people are stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. Like, it seems, I think the general rule we had was the closer you get to Washington, the bigger,
Right,
assholes,
the bigger assholes
they
they are.
become, you know? And the further away you get, it just gets lax, it gets easy.
Yeah, I was never stationed on the West Coast. I was always a little disappointed on that. I did some ops there when I was with the Seabees in Fort Pendleton.
Okay.
And, yeah, it was another awful one. I remember a guy I was working with who I thought did not know that I was hooking up with his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
Well, he had an exhaust leak on the engine he was working on,
Okay.
but he couldn't figure out where it was coming from because he had to start it up on the front, and the exhaust leak was on the back. So I climbed up over top of the engine and got in the back, and he turned it on and then just took off, and the whole room was full of exhaust. But I had been chain smoking for like 4 years ahead of that
thought
time.
he had you.
No problem.
No problem. Nice.
That's the time that cigarettes saved my life.
I seem to remember. That's the time. I seem to remember you rolling into town in Norfolk there with all your rowdy friends,
Mm-hmm.
and they seemed like they were pretty much party boys.
Yeah, it was a lot of drinking and fighting.
You might have had some drinkers in your group.
Yeah, I could hold my own. I could hold my own. But I mean, it's that.
And then
that
I was
one
like,
of the
let me
things.
get my drinking friends together with your drinking friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into some of those stories. There's
We
some
had,
bad ones.
they're just all bad.
Mm-hmm.
I had a guy who he managed to ride his car. He drove this like jackass Cadillac. And he also had a lot of pot plants growing in his backyard, but I'm not sure that has a connection to this
Okay.
story.
He was in the military though.
In the military. Yeah.
Okay.
And he did somehow fail a drug test at some point.
Oh, okay, all right.
Him and like everybody around him except not me, because I wasn't an
You
idiot.
weren't in the cool club.
I wasn't in the cool club.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But he had this old, like, maybe 1982 Cadillac Eldorado or something. Thought he was the coolest.
How many car accidents? How many friends of yours had drunken car accidents where they completely trashed their car but managed to get away with it?
But there's a few. So this story actually exemplifies
Okay.
the kind of spirit that you're celebrating right now. And so he's driving, and he manages to drive his car up onto the median in the middle of the road. And I'm not exactly clear on how high it was. However, I know that at this point, all four tires are flat.
Okay.
And he parks it there because he's like, fuck, I can't drive like this. And just goes to sleep.
In the car?
And wakes up in the morning. No cop comes by, no ticket. Just
Nothing?
Everything worked out. He's like, I had to call a tow truck. I don't know what happened. I just woke up and all my tires were flat. I'm like, yeah, that happens. Now, I do have another friend who managed to get a DUI because he came out of the bar and it was cold, and he turns his car on and goes to sleep in his car. And they came and gave him a DUI because he was sleeping in his car with it running.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's a treat there.
Mm-hmm.
We had a shipwide drug test that there was, I think, in all of combat systems, which is like your fire controlmen, like the guys who do missiles and that kind of thing, and then the electronic techs, which are, you know, like we do all the radars and the communications, and they do fire control radars, and then their missile stuff, whatever like that. So in our department, it was probably like 60 guys. They did a shipwide drug test, and I think like 42 failed the drug test.
That's a lot of drugs, dude.
And the one with the Cadillac ended up
out too?
He was out. That was what got him in.
All right.
And also another guy who I may have mentioned earlier in the podcast went out then
On his way.
out. And then they're like, well, we still need him to work because it's half the ship.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to be supervised all the time. So, Jaeger, you're in charge. Handle it. That was a treat. Because these are like your friends.
Right.
And it's awkward, but you're like their prison warden.
Right. Right. You're also...
and then you're kind of like, there's like 7 of them, and they could really kick my ass and just leave me here and be gone.
Right.
And you're like, that might happen.
Mm-hmm.
They were my friends, but now it's just kind of a weird dynamic.
Right, right.
It just gets ugly. I had mentioned that we did like a NATO like ball tops kind of thing, and that was cool. So we did stuff with like the British and the Russians actually, because Trump probably worked that out. I don't know. It was
right.
I think like 1998. I think Trump was colluding back then.
Yeah,
something like that.
Getting geared up.
So we'd go to the Russian ship, and you look, and this thing was like the scariest looking ship. Just like they have like missiles pointing out at like everywhere. You're just like, I mean, they might be wood with paint on them. I don't know, but you're just like, man, that's a scary looking fucking ship because just everywhere you look, you see some kind of armament, and they have these radars that are like 2 of our radars, one turned sideways, and it looks like, like 3 radars jammed together. You're like, I don't even know what's happening there, but man, they must know some serious shit. Then it turns out you find out about they didn't really understand how to combine, like the 2 directions. So they just put 2 radars.
They just stuck them together?
Like they both cut like a slice through, the thing. And so they figured out the height with one radar and but whatever, hey, to each his own. So we go and they're like, hey, you want to party with, the Russians? And you're like, I actually traded some guy like a white hat for, I have one of those old school Russian sailor shirts, the blue and white striped undershirts.
Yes.
I have one, I think I just threw it out because I was like, what am I going to do with this? Mm-hmm. But it was awesome. Because you see all the old movies, you're like, nice.
Yeah, they did
the
have
guy's
the
like, yeah,
uniforms.
I'll give you my dirty undershirt. No problem. Done. But we went on their ship and we're like checking all kinds of shit out, and they're drinking vodka on the ship and just good to go, right?
Yeah.
We never had that kind of fun on our ship, it turns out.
No, I remember 6 months, being out for 6 months, being out for 4 months. Now, you're allowed 1 beer every 2 months.
Comes up with this? I don't recall this.
Yeah, I was able to have, after 4 months, I was able to have 2 beers.
I've never heard this beer story
torture,
Yeah, 2, that's amateur hour.
Right.
Now, the only time I've ever drank beer on a ship, or any alcohol for that matter, was we pulled in Norway on this ball tops, and beers were like $18 each or some shit. Our exchange was like stupid.
Not working out right.
You're like, wait a minute, a cup of coffee's like $10. What's going on? So the ship ends up breaking out like pallets of Budweiser. And we're just right on the fantail chugging them and whatever. And the party began. But so then the next day we're in port and there's all these German ships. And it's kind of weird because the German ships are actually like 15, 20-year-old American ships.
Okay.
That we sold them. And you're like, hey, I get this. This works. And we go in, and in the berthing, that's the sleeping area for you non-military lingo types. And they have kegs.
In the berthing.
And you just walk over. And I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm really disappointed in our military.
I run into a chick in the hallway. And I'm like, oh, you're on this ship? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, what do you do? What's your job? She's like, I'm the bartender. Or no, she was some kind of like fun coordinator.
Fun coordinator?
And I'm like, what is this? And she's like, I serve the drinks. And I'm like, really? I'm like, I'm in the wrong military.
Yeah, seriously.
But then, after I'm thinking, wait, these guys have it better than we do. The Russians are drinking vodka.
Mm-hmm.
The Germans have the chicks serving up the beers in the berthing.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm like, well, I'm going over to the Polish ship. And they're like, well, we'll do you one better. You can go out on a deployment with the Polish ship for 3 days.
Okay.
And I'm like, that is
Now, do you
very
speak Polish?
interesting. I don't speak Polish,
All
although I do know friki is the word for French fries.
Okay.
So I got that down.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when you try and order ice, at that point they hadn't invented it
Yeah,
yet.
it hasn't gotten to Poland yet for
Right.
some reason.
So I think we mentioned that
Yeah.
in a
there's a
previous-
couple of countries that just don't seem to have
they're
ice.
working on the recipe, but yeah, they didn't have that. So it's a steamship.
What?
Yes. Now, I don't know if you've ever been on a steamship, but they're not as clean
Mm-hmm.
as you might imagine.
Yeah, no, I
There's
wouldn't
a lot of
imagine they'd be
soot and
very clean.
and bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I find out, so we do this thing called hot racking. Right. Even the
that's
XO
gross.
and the captain share a bed.
Ooh.
Like, alternate. Now, they're not like, bumping uglies like the modern military they're talking about.
Right.
We're talking about like one guy sleeps there in the day and the other guy sleeps there in the night.
Right. So the rack's always hot.
The rack's always hot. So that was not a fun time for me, I got to tell you.
Mm.
It's a little dirty.
I don't know much
A little
about the
smelly.
Polish people, but I feel like they sweat a lot.
There was some sweat involved.
Yeah, I feel like it's not something I'd want
You're
to
on
be
a
trading
steamship.
beds with.
I was like, this is not good at all. But, lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned. There are some beautiful Polish women.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know. I'm just saying I read it in a book.
In a book. I saw that book.
You saw that book? Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
But I think that kind of wraps it up where the idea is, you have a good time. And you build a bond with all your brothers out there, your fellow warriors, that, you go through experiences that nobody else in the world can understand. I watch TV shows and you see guys with like PTSD and stuff like that. And they're like, I feel like I'm in two worlds, and that's the thing is you really have this connection of unique experiences that nobody else. I think you'd been to the Dakari Palace. Is that in Turkey or something? Or no? Okay,
No.
I thought I'd heard a story that you had been there. But yeah, there's this place. I think it's maybe Izmir, Turkey, or I don't know. There was the Dakari Palace was the big thing, and you could talk to anybody, and they all knew. Oh, you got the T-shirt because you drank 15 drinks and passed out on the beach. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Or there was some guy, Boris or something, who was some Russian guy who owned a bar, and he was some like former submariner in Russia who opens a bar in Israel, somehow in the big port, and talks to all the sailors and gets them to tell sailor stories, and is probably like sending all that shit back to Russia, But everybody knew him, and you're like, oh yeah, you got to go to this bar with whatever. Or, just wherever you go, it's like everybody has these stories, like Ireland was amazing. But you go to all these places, you see the world, nobody else can really relate. Who do you know in the general world that's not in the military who's been in like 20 countries?
Right.
It's an amazing thing. And you have very unique perspectives on, now I know some of you Army guys and whatever are like, yeah, I saw Afghanistan. And then I saw Afghanistan.
Right.
And then I saw some more. And I saw this other part of Afghanistan. I got to say, even like all the ports, all the places in the world, I've been to England, Ireland, Poland, Norway, France, Israel, Turkey, Egypt. I've been down in the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, and I don't know.
Yeah, you do get a lot of traveling in.
You go everywhere, and it's just you talk to somebody, nobody can relate to that. You know, you're like, oh, yeah, down in the Virgin Islands, it's like this. The water's so clear and you can,
Right.
you know, whatever. Or, you know, oh, that time that, you know, I was in Guam and we stopped there because it was just like a big landing strip and, you know, whatever.
middle of nowhere.
You know, you're like, all right, cool, you know, different things. And nobody else knows, but your military brothers, you know, they all know and you just
They remember
have that
those
connection,
places,
you
yep.
know? And you're like, yeah. And you're so focused and tied together and you build such a bond. And then when you come out, you're kind of like, oh. And nobody else can kind of relate to your stories.
Mm-hmm.
And they have that kind of tough. And like I said, there's good and there's bad. You know, I've had guys when your enlistment's up, I had a captain who was like, look, before you re-enlist or don't re-enlist, don't just remember the good times because your mind has a way of whitewashing it into,
Right.
you know, the happy, fun times. But he's like, you know, remember the times when you worked for freaking 40 hours or whatever. I had a day that this radio was broke and they had me working on it. And I literally sat working on this radio for probably like, it was probably about 30 hours where I did nothing but soda machine, piss, and back in front of the radio. And after like 30 hours, I go to get in the chow line to go eat. And they freaking grab me and yell at me. What the hell are you doing? This is ridiculous. It's still broke. You need to get back there. And guys do that. You
Right.
know, I'm not like, oh, Jaeger, yeah, he's so tough.
Right.
No,
No, that was
that's,
everybody.
That's everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, maybe they didn't have that one incident, but they had stuff where
Right.
shit was, you know.
Oh, you're tired?
Yeah.
You slept for 3 hours in the past 2 days.
Oh, yeah,
Come
it was
on.
raining for 3 days when you went on this hike. And whatever, we don't care. Oh, your feet are nasty, gnarly, pruned, whatever.
Right.
And every step you take, they tear a little bit more. Yeah, whatever. Fuck it. You know? I mean, that's the thing. That's part of that stuff. But that's what really builds that bond and brotherhood, you know, when you bleed together and you guys, you know, go through the same shit. It's really a big, you know, bonding force. And it's hard to change, like transfer back and relate to the rest of the world. And that's why, you know, like this podcast was a cool thing we wanted to do is, you know, it's that connection to everybody. And, you know, we get to share some of those stories and, you know, some of the same ideas. And, you know, obviously we're all about, you know, being prepared for stuff. And, you know, I like playing with guns or different things. We all have our things that we really enjoy doing, but it's also that camaraderie, you know, that connection to, you know, the brotherhood. And I think that's what really, you know, keeps everything going. So, you know, we really appreciate it. And all you guys who stuck it out with us on Patreon and throw us some money every month, even though I never get around to sending your patches out. There's like, actually, I have a list and it's like 6 guys.
6 guys that
Six
have patches
guys
coming?
that are probably angry. I can tell you because it's in my phone and I keep every day. So as far as I understand, it's Brian, Seth, Matthew, Cameron, and that's it. Oh, so
right.
that's 3, 4, 5 guys.
All right.
5 guys, I'm dropping the ball.
Now, we appreciated all 5 of those guys.
All 5.
And everybody else.
And I'm so close. I keep getting to the post office, and then shit happens. And, you know, that's the world. But I'm going to take care of you. You know what? I have the little extra time. Maybe I'm going to throw a little something extra in there. Sweeten the pot.
Nice.
Little pot sweetener happening. So, and if I didn't read one of your names and you think I owe you a patch, you might want to send me an email and
Just
be
to
like,
make- yeah,
hey,
clarify.
don't forget me. And actually, one of you didn't put your name in Patreon. You didn't put your address.
All right. So we're going to have to get that email. Now, you can email
And you know who?
that.
Well, I emailed him.
Okay.
Whoever it was, he dropped the ball, and I sent him an email, and I lost his name. But you know who you are.
Right.
And if you're just delete emails when they say prepping badass on them, then screw you. You don't get a patch anyway.
No patch for you.
So
All right. Yeah, email us at preppingbadass@gmail.com. And you can support us on Patreon at Patreon.com/badass. Is that right?
patreon.com/prepping badass.
All right. And check out the Facebook page.
Yeah, join the group. you can actually join the brotherhood.
Yeah.
And have that fun bond.
I feel like a lot of the people on the Facebook page don't know it's related to a podcast.
Yes, I do get those questions every night. What are you guys talking about?
Right.
I don't know anything. All right.
That's it.
So share with a friend. Share the love. With that, stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
The Survival and Basic Badass Podcast is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today. Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
This episode is brought to you by Boat Trader, America's largest boating marketplace. Whether you're buying, selling, or upgrading, the Boat Trader app makes it easy. With the biggest selection of new and used boats from dealers and private sellers. Browse, compare, and even apply for financing. All in one place. Download the Boat Trader app and start your search today.